News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Northern Steel Buildings. A 32-year-old Logan man has been arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman at his residence back in March. Ryan Bringhurst was booked Tuesday into the Cache County Jail following an investigation by law enforcement. According to an arrest affidavit, the alleged victim contacted Logan City police officers in April. The 19-year-old woman described being sexually assaulted on March 13th. The woman told police how Bringhurst allegedly encouraged her to consume alcohol and marijuana to the point where she became intoxicated, sick, and vomiting. She then went to a room by herself. Later that night, according to the affidavit, the woman alleged that Bringhurst came into her bedroom after another occupant had gone to bed. He partially removed her clothes, molested, groped, and then raped her. The alleged victim described how she could not respond during the assault. It continued until Bringhurst became scared and left her undressed in the room. Bringhurst was arraigned Wednesday afternoon in First District Court. He was charged with rape, object rape, and 2 counts of forcible sodomy, all first-degree felonies, and 4 counts of forcible sexual abuse, a second-degree felony. Judge Brian Cannell ordered Bringhurst to remain in jail, being temporarily held without bail. He scheduled him to appear again in court August 8th. KVNU News Time is 4:06. KVNU weather for tonight, mostly cloudy skies and a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this evening. Then a chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight, about 40%. Overnight low in the low 60s. Rain showers likely Friday, slight chance of thunderstorms in the morning. Then rain showers and a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon on Friday. High temperature in the lower 80s. It's been to 90 so far. It's 89 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Logan Dental Associates. Make your appointment at Logan Dental Associates with Dr. Brandon Preby, Curtis Taylor, Anthony Larson, or Dr. Paul Harris. A full-service dental office to take care of the entire family.
A building is just a building until it's your building. It's where you work, where you create, where you store your valuable equipment. You take pride in your building, so make sure it's built right and built to last. Northern Steel Buildings will guide you from concept to construction. For your commercial, agricultural, or industrial steel building, visit northernsteelbuilding.com to see their quality work or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
KVNU News Time is 4:08. A truck driver was ejected from a vehicle and killed Wednesday morning in a rollover crash in Iron County. SR 20 was closed while the scene of the crash was cleaned up for about 4.5 hours. Officials said at about 6:20 a.m., troopers were called to the crash located on SR 20 near milepost 8. An investigation revealed the single driver of a commercial box truck drifted off the right side of the road while traveling westbound, corrected back in the opposite direction, forcing the truck to overturn on its side. According to authorities, the driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the vehicle. The driver, a 24-year-old man, was identified by authorities. He was pronounced dead on scene. Distraction and impairment were being investigated as potential factors of the crash. And cattle wrestling was a big deal in the 1800s. Early Western TV shows normally had an episode or two about stealing cattle. And just as cattle stealing was big then, it's making its way back into rural counties across Utah. Utah Department of Agriculture and Food is getting reports of a large number of missing and harmed livestock this year, adding to an alarming and upward trend that has been increasing over the past few years. Leanne Hunting, Animal Industry Director, said that while they do not know the exact cause of the increase in cases, it is very concerning, and they want to raise awareness of these happenings. There have been 77 head of cattle, 5 head of horses or mules, and 1 sheep or goat. Of those 83 animals, only 7 have been found this year. So far in Cache Valley and Box Elder County, there have been no large-scale reported cases of missing livestock. KVNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU.
My name is Dr. Brandon Prevey, and I love being a dentist. I work with Doctors Curtis Taylor, Anthony Larson, and Paul Harris. When people ask where our office is, I actually have two answers. First, I spend part of the week at Logan Dental Associates, and then second, I spend the other part at Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond. Both locations are a full-service dental office and can take care of everyone in the family. Call or go online and make your appointment with the offices most convenient for you. Logan Dental Associates in Logan or Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Thursday, August 4th. I'm Jason Williams, Bill Walter here in the studio as well. And being Thursday, it is time for our weekly theater hour with our good friend Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com joining us to talk arts, entertainment, and more in Cache Valley. And Charlie, welcome.
Hey, Jason.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
An exciting week for you, I know, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this. There is so much going on, but I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the Pickleville folks have that little brainstorming text group that TJ Davis does, and they sent out an invitation or a poll, basically, of people who have subscribed to that saying,
what do you want to see as a fall show?
How would you feel about a touring comedy variety show kind of? At least that's how I read the description, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that.
Who knows?
Yeah. I like that they're experimenting, but part of me thinks...
let's do the Addams Family again.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that. I'm like, I'm not sure if this will work. I'm not sure if this is the thing, but at least it's something new.
I just assumed they did the Addams Family again.
That's where I landed. I got thinking about it. I'm like, but do I really want something new from them? I mean, they have the things that they're really good at. The Addams Family is always great when they do it. Maybe just stick to what you do, Anyway.
Who knows?
That's just one of several things happening this week and weekend. And it is still... you said, a month and a half ago that the floodgates were about to open, and they have not closed.
Well, yeah, they're going to close at the end of the week. That's when Utah Festival Opera will close its season.
It's been a big season for them.
It has, and it's been fun. It really has been. Carmen. And then Beyond Carmen, which was a great production with Audrey Babcock singing French and what they call ladus, something. Yeah, Spanish Judaic dialect.
Yeah.
And The Tenderland, which was just a marvelous production.
That's my biggest regret of things that I've missed. I knew I always miss some things, but that one was hard for me to miss. And then hearing you talk about it, I knew it was going to be one not to miss, and then you came in and talked about it last week, and I thought, yep, that's the one I shouldn't have missed.
Tickets were all sold out. There was no way you could have gone.
It went fast, and it was just...
well, they only had 350 seats set up at the Griffin Farm, so...
that's... Still the setup and the planning alone.
Sad to miss that one.
Yeah, I'm not happy. I hope they do something like that again.
Okay, moving forward, we have lots of stuff going on by our local folks.
Yeah.
Cash Theater Company, Music Theater West, and Four Seasons. And Four Seasons is going to be doing the Hunchback of Notre Dame from September 21st to October 1st.
Oh, wow.
There's a couple problems with that.
That's a long run.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks. But
I think I know where you're going.
This thing never ran on Broadway.
Oh, it didn't. I didn't know that.
No, and so there's not an authorized production. You know, there's dozens of different versions of this thing floating around.
Sure.
It was first performed in Germany, in Berlin.
Oh, really?
In German.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they did it with 18 principal characters, 32 choir members.
Wow.
And a big cast of dancers.
That's huge.
It is huge. And in the United States, it played, a couple of previews, and then the Disney folks folded their tent and kind of said, no Broadway, sorry.
Interesting.
It just didn't hit with critics. But here in the United States, there are people who have done productions that are similar to the German, only in English,
Sure.
The 18 principals, 32 choir members, and an ensemble.
Okay.
They've also done it, and I'm not sure whether Festival Opera did this show 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it having a huge cast, so probably they did it without the choir, just the principal characters and the ensemble.
Wow, I can't remember. I went to that too.
Yeah. But
it seems like it was not a big thing.
It doesn't strike you as there was a gigantic cast.
Yeah,
either.
I don't remember that. I always notice that because I always think of the production side of that.
Yeah, how hard it is
how
to
hard
do it.
that would be.
But Music Theater West, Four Seasons, is going for broke.
Interesting.
They're going to do the full choir, 32 voices in the background.
Now, this is out of character for them, right? Are they normally a smaller production company?
Yeah, pretty much, with the exception of their Christmas show, which they go whole hog.
Two or 300 people.
But, yeah, they normally do go with smaller shows. The other thing that disturbs me a little is that Four Seasons has developed a reputation as Northern Utah's family-friendly productions.
Yeah.
And this is not a family-friendly show.
No, this is for Disney, a dark one.
It's very dark. Starts with Quasimodo's mother being killed on stage.
Yeah.
Esmeralda eventually croaks.
Yeah. There's a murder.
There's a murder. This is kind of a nasty show.
Yeah.
So.
That's going to be interesting.
I understand there is a version of it that doesn't have all the murders on stage, and Esmeralda survives.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that plays. The other thing about...
I don't like that idea.
The other thing about this show is that the deaf chorus, the deaf community got a hold of the show, and they started this deal where Quasimodo is deaf because he's been listening to the bells ringing in the tower all his life. So there's another version of this thing floating around where Quasimodo doesn't sing.
Really?
He signs. They hired a deaf actor to perform the role, and he signs all during the show.
Interesting.
And another cast member sings his songs.
That's interesting.
And kind of dopey.
Yeah, that could be really distracting.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Even for those who do sign, it seems like that would be an unpleasant way to experience it.
That'd be a dumb way, yes. I'm sure that Cody Rash and John Rash are not going to do that at Four Seasons, but they could surprise us.
That would be... it would be interesting to see once, but it does seem like it would be really, really distracting for everyone in the audience, even members of the audience who are deaf.
Well, I think about the Festival Opera doing it, and I think they had somebody signing.
Interesting. I do remember that during 9 to 5. I know they had two individuals off stage signing, but I don't know that I've ever seen a production where someone part of the production.
Where's 9 to 5 at
I forget the theater, Morgan Theater. No, which theater was that up on campus?
It was at the Morgan.
That was the Morgan, yeah.
Utah.
Well, the screening or the show the screening. The production I saw, it was a weeknight production, and they had two folks sitting in chairs just off the right side of the stage, and then a whole section that they were facing, and they were signing the whole production, a man and a woman. But they weren't part of the production. They were off the stage. I'm
either oblivious or that I didn't see that setup.
I wondered if it was if it was something specific to that show. If they had arranged, for that show to be signed, because I don't remember. You don't see that often. One time years ago, I saw it at the Utah Theater during a Wait Until Dark, I think. Or no, that was at the Lyric, but it was a Wait Until Dark. But I saw that twice, and one time there were two individuals signing just down off the stage in front, and the other time not. So I always wondered if that was something that was done by arrangement.
No, I don't. I'm not aware of that.
But I've never seen a production where someone was part of the cast, part of on the stage
and signing.
Interesting.
It would be hard for somebody to stay in character and be doing that.
Yeah.
Particularly a lead role.
Yeah, that would be, and then to have another voice singing, that just seems really distracting for everyone. Hope they don't go that route.
I'm assuming that's not a. Well, as I say, there is no authorized version of this show. People have been playing games with it for 20 years.
Yeah, and I always wondered if the lesser No, well, not lesser known. Maybe that's not the way to put it. This isn't Disney's Little Mermaid, so I always wondered if there's.
Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, that's right. I always wonder if there's more leeway, if they feel there's more leeway with the audiences. Whereas, like Little Mermaid, the people that are going to show up for that, you can't diverge. You can't take liberties because they're coming there to see that story.
Yes.
Whereas Hunchback of Notre Dame, maybe you've got a little more leeway. That's interesting. Now I'm curious how they put this together. This is you would know this. I'm not sure, but this to me seems. Is this an average run for 4 seasons? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to perform on Sunday. They're not going to perform on Monday, probably.
Sure.
But it's about average.
Interesting. For some reason, I always thought of 4 seasons. I would think short, 4-day runs over a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, and Music Theater West does something similar.
That's true. That's I know we're going to talk about this later in the hour, but I saw the number of shows for Singing in the Rain, and I'm like, oh, come on, double that. You could fill that theater that many times.
No, they couldn't. The problem is that they're sitting there on the national touring show coming in.
Oh, yeah.
So
kind of crunched. I didn't think of that.
They get crunched.
Yeah, that starts end of September, huh?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio, he writes for CashValleyDaily.com. You can read his work there each and every day, news stories, theater reviews, and more. Once a week, he joins us here in the studio to talk arts and entertainment in Cache Valley. We have more to talk about. We've covered 4 seasons, Hunchback of Notre Dame, but also coming up, we have some announcements from Cache Theater Company and Music Theater West, Singing in the Rain, and a lot more in between all of that. Maybe a little teaser of some of the touring season as well, as Wendy Hassan continues to work her magic there. And we'll be back with more of the For the People Theater Hour with Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com right after this.
Coming up on the Friday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, is this Biden build back a little bit Bill going through, or will Cinemax throw a wrench into the gears? Unlikely, but possible. We'll discuss that, the latest at the border, and also what's going to happen here going into the midterm cycle when it comes to COVID policies across the country. That and more coming up on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Utah.
This message presented by the Utah High School Activities Association and the Utah Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. It's our theater hour with Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com joining us here in the studio. We've talked a little bit about 4 seasons and their upcoming production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And stay tuned, because Cache Theater Company and Music Theater West have all made big announcements this week. Also, Wendy Hassan has added some things to the touring season part of the year through the fall and into the winter at the Eccles Theater, from Thriller, what will be the final Thriller from Odyssey Dance Company, as the founder and main director there has chosen to retire and take the Odyssey Dance Theater name with him. Also some Hawaiian and African-themed events, something similar to Cirque du Soleil is how I'd describe it. A lot to talk about, basically. And so, Hunchback of Notre Dame, I've linked to that on our Facebook page. Tickets are available now for that. But coming up, we'll talk a little bit about, as you may have guessed from the song there, Singing in the Rain, and also Music Theater West's Cash Theater Company's The Little Mermaid, which is also starting end of August. So quite a bit to get to here. Still a few shows left for Utah Festival Opera, although this is their final week. They're not done. The Magic Flute plays tomorrow night and tonight. Also, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor plays until Saturday. Carmen plays until tomorrow night, so still a few showings there you can get to. And Man of La Mancha plays until tomorrow night. So, also last night, Charlie got out to see Sentimental Jury, Old Blue Eyes, tribute to Frank Sinatra. We're going to put a pin in that one until next week because there is a larger discussion we can have about this presentation here in Cache Valley and how audiences responded to it and why there should maybe be more of these things for us to get out to. So plenty to talk about. The touring season at Alan Eccles Theater has launched. Music Theater West, Cache Theater Company, and Four Seasons. We'll get to it all with Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com here for the For the People Theater Hour, which continues after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:31, and the news is brought to you by Logan Extermination. 3 Utah hazard mitigation projects were selected to receive more than $100 million from FEMA's 2021 Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, or BRIC, grant. The formal announcement was made from the White House Monday morning. BRIC-supported hazard mitigation projects are intended to better prepare communities for disastrous impacts from natural hazards like hurricanes, floods, and wildfires. Utah's winning projects focused on drought and earthquake risks. The Weber Basin Water Conservancy District's Davis Aqueduct Parallel Pipeline Project will receive a federal share of $21,586,182. Provo City's Water Supply Long-Term Sustainability Project will receive a federal share of $50 million. Salt Lake City's City Creek Water Treatment Plant Resilient Water Quality and Supply Project will receive a federal share of $36,680,000. Utah Emergency Management Director Chris Hamlet said their mitigation and recovery team has been working closely with local, state, and federal partners for the past year to complete, review, and submit the BRIC applications. They said it's very satisfying to see the positive results of their hard work and efforts. Officers shot and killed a male suspect near the southern Utah border with Arizona Wednesday morning. The pursuit originated at about 7:20 a.m. when Utah Highway Patrol received calls of a suspicious vehicle in the port of entry on northbound I-15. According to a press release, troopers arrived and located an adult male in what police described acting erratically while brandishing a weapon. The release states troopers backed off while they notified dispatch and requested additional backup. Officers from the St. George Police Department, including a crisis negotiator, were all dispatched to the scene. Officials said the incident was under investigation and the Washington County Critical Incident Task Force took over the case. Additional details on the suspect were not immediately available. And crews on Wednesday responded to a house fire that investigators believe started when a pan of oil ignited as a family was preparing a birthday party meal. According to Layton Fire Marshal Doug Bitton, authorities received a call at about 8:30 a.m. of a structure fire. Firefighters arrived to find a pillar of smoke emanating from a house and flames coming from the structure's door and windows. 3 people were inside when the fire began, but all of them were able to evacuate safely. While the official cause is yet to be determined, a preliminary investigation suggests the blaze began with a cooking fire. The home's resident was preparing food for her daughter's 20th birthday party. She had to run an errand while the food was cooking, and she reportedly asked her 11-year-old son to watch the stove while she ran to the store. While the woman was gone, oil in the pan began to smoke and then caught fire. According to reports, the resulting inferno caused an estimated $200,000 in damages and left the home uninhabitable. KVNU News Time is 4:35.
As the summer's war against weeds and pests rages on, a new bug threat starts hopping around, destroying garden plants and flowers. Luckily, you are ready for them with Logan Extermination's Perimeter Grasshopper Control. It's like a minefield for the minute menace.
Good job, men. Another bug bites the dirt. Let's regroup before the next wave hits.
They do what they are trained to do. Strike terror into termites, bash the bed bugs, and cook the cockroaches. Remember the brave men and women at Logan Extermination. Call 752-8450.
Treatment areas vary. Call for a quote today.
KVNU weather tonight, mostly cloudy, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this evening, then a chance of showers and storms after midnight, 40% chance. Overnight low tonight in the lower 60s. Rain showers likely Friday morning, slight chance of thunderstorms and rain showers and a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon on Friday. It will be cooler, high temperature in the lower 80s. It's been to 90 this afternoon. It's 89 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Turn life up. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Danes at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Go to cachehearing.com. That's cachehearing.com. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Rochelle Hanks bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of financial advisor Tron Arnold and Edward Jones for Thursday, August 4th. Markets closed mixed today. The S&P 500 moved modestly lower today, while the Nasdaq closed higher after rebounding nearly 50% this quarter already. This comes as oil prices continue to head lower, with crude oil moving below $90 for the first time since the Ukraine crisis began. Initial jobless claims continue to move higher. The U.S. initial jobs claims came in at 260,000 this morning, in line with expectations, and above last week's 254,000 reading. Jobless claims are now near the highest levels of the year and over 50% above the lows of the year set in March at 166,000. This softening may be a leading indicator of potential weakening in the U.S. labor economy, which continues to see tight conditions and record low unemployment rates. All eyes will be on tomorrow's U.S. job reports for the month of July, where expectations call for an additional 250,000 jobs to be added, and the unemployment rates remain at 3.6%. Wage growth is expected to tick lower to 4.9% year over year in tomorrow's report, below last month's 5.1% figure, supporting the notion of moderating inflationary pressures. In our view, the U.S. labor market started from a position of strength, and while we may see some softening ahead, the initial robustness will provide some cushion against higher rates and weaker economic backdrop. U.S. equities closed lower today. The Dow closed down 86 points at 32,727. The Nasdaq closed up 52 points at 12,721. And the S&P closed down 3 points at 4,152. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 2.66%. In stocks of local interest, Thermo Fisher is up $2.02 to $5.90. Home Depot is up 80 cents to $307.17. Autolead is down $3.95 to $81.11. Lowe's is up $1.74 to $197.16. Walmart is down $4.93 to $125.57. Nucor is up $2.85 to $134.25. Coca-Cola is down 25 cents at $63.67. Kroger is down 27 cents at $46.70, and General Electric is down $1.07 at $73.67. In commodity markets, the price of crude oil was down $2.36 at $88.30, and the spot price of gold was up $34.90 to $1,811.30. This has been today's Financial Market Report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Tron Arnold, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 1202 South Highway 89 in Logan. If you would like additional information, please contact any of our 7 Edward Jones offices in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
Remember when you were a kid and used to help your dad out with projects? He would say, "My roof, my rules." You grew up, bought your own roof, and made your own rules. Then your roof started leaking. But that's okay because your dad said he would help you fix it. Oh, watch out. It was a great father-son bonding experience right up until you realized you were in over your heads and the roof didn't get fixed.
Don't risk your safety and your home's protection from the elements. Contact Roof Rescue's certified professionals at roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People Theater Hour, here with our good friend Charlie Schill in the studio, talking arts and entertainment in Cache Valley. The summer theater season is winding down a bit, as Charlie mentioned, Utah Festival Opera wrapping up their season this week. But that means the openings now exist for the other local companies to launch what they've got planned. The touring season, Cash Eccles, Wendy Hassan's big time to shine in the fall every year. A lot of exciting stuff. High school productions, of course, will be coming soon. Some announcements, I would guess, in the next couple of weeks on that. Right now, though, we have still Cache Theater Company and Music Theater West that have made some announcements, and Charlie and I have been talking about Four Seasons. They're, of course, launching September 22nd, opening night for Four Seasons Hunchback of Notre Dame. That runs from the 22nd of September to October 1st. 8 shows there. And, yeah, I don't want to jump right to Singing in the Rain because, you know, that's the one I'm most excited about.
We're not going to jump right to Singing in the Rain.
I know you've got other stuff before then, but, man, I'm excited about that one. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Little Mermaid it is?
I guess I just should say it. The Little Mermaid is going to be performed by the Cache Theater Company August 26th to September 3rd.
Ellen Eccles Theater, big theater.
Yep.
It won't sell out, but it'll be crowded.
Yeah. You know,
it's a staple, I know, but man.
You know, I saw, I took my granddaughter to this show years ago. They did it 5-6 years ago. And it was okay.
I mean, that's the thing that I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and it's done well, and what I struggle with is this is one of my. I have some. Everyone has their Disney stories that weren't really their thing, weren't their favorites, but this is one where I actually think The Little Mermaid has a story that is not good. It has a message that's not good. It's not. I watch, if you watch that original Disney movie, oftentimes I think, man, is this really, you really want to put some of these ideas in your children's heads? And I know that's me taking it too seriously. Kids love this. They love the comedy, the little bits and pieces that are fun. And then the villain in this one is a kid-friendly villain, unlike that.
Ursula?
Yeah, she's less scary than, man, when I was a kid, I can't remember her name.
The dragon.
Scared me.
Really?
I was traumatized by Disney with that. Now I can't remember the queen's name, but yeah. Anyway, so Ursula was a little more of a palatable villain for young children, and I get the appeal, but not one of my favorites.
Yeah, let's go to the local witch and make arrangements to grow legs so that to frustrate my father. Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Basically, yeah. I'm going to run away from home and become a person.
Yeah.
Instead of a mermaid.
That was.
You're right. That's kind of sucks.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of a funky message to send to kids, but it's one. I don't know, I have no statistics on this, but it has to be one of the most common, the most frequently performed Disney
and it's
productions.
Hard to perform it well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, as I recall, that show years ago was done on skates.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they skated around to simulate swimming.
That's right. When they would do the ice events with Disney characters. That's right.
But, the level of expectations for The Little Mermaid has changed a heck of a lot since in the last 6 or 7 years.
That makes sense.
I mean, Four Seasons did it. I think Music Theater West did it. And, Ursula in one of those shows was a man masquerading as a girl.
Oh, really?
And was, enormously popular, enormously overdone, So I don't recall, I think the Ursula in The Little Mermaid by CTC was just kind of a nasty old witch.
Yeah.
She didn't have tentacles all over the place and a big swirling mass and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just a big black dress.
But the level of expectations for this show has gotten high, and they're going to have to raise the bar a bunch.
Yeah.
To please audiences.
Yeah, and if they do, cool. If they're able to get something unique and new to this, that I would love. I don't mean to be a naysayer. I'd love for people to go see this to say, "Oh man, it was just amazing. They really went above and beyond." But like you said, it's hard to do this well.
Yeah, it really is. So we'll be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, and it's. I shouldn't say this. Where you still have, if you're looking to get something into your August and it's only going to be one thing, you've still got Man of La Mancha till the 6th. You've got Carmen Friday night, last one. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat until the 6th. So what I'm saying is, you could, if you're only going to go see something in August, you've got options, but. I'm guessing a lot of families going to head out to The Little Mermaid.
Well, I kind of feel like there are local people, and you got to support them. You got to see how it goes.
True.
And it's The Little Mermaid.
That's one thing. I know you and I are probably alike in this way. I don't know if every potential audience member is, but sometimes even if it's not your favorite content or something you actually even dislike, you can go and appreciate. I went into
the performances.
Yeah,
sure.
That was Peter Pan was like that for me last summer. Pickleville's Peter Pan. It's one of my least favorite Disney stories. Just done to death, and it's not really one of my favorites, even when it's done well.
It's not a Disney story.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, Disney hijacked it.
Don't blame Disney.
That's right, man.
Mary Martin and Cyril Richard in 1953.
That was I forget that didn't originate with Disney. They just stole it. But that was, it was never really that appealing to me, but that was one of my favorite performances last summer just because of the cast. They did such an amazing job. And
you had Bruce Bundy or Blake Bundy as Captain Hook.
Which was, I think that's what made it for me.
Oh, yeah.
Just really good as a villain. That was... I notice really quick. I notice on the show list for Eccles, there are a few non-theater things, as is tradition, and I'll link to those for listeners if there's something you would like to go see. This kind of interesting. This, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I assume it would be Tao Dance Theater, which appears to be a Hawaiian dance company.
Yeah,
that could be interesting. But yeah, so there's a lot to see. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay, let's go to Singing in the
Rain. Finally. I'm just...
You're dying to see this, I can tell you.
This is one of the few, the classics, or I guess,
sure,
that I've never seen. I've never seen an actual live production of this.
This was created for a movie. and then transition to the stage.
I didn't know
Not
that.
the other way around.
And that's something I didn't know until you told me that. Because I always assumed, because usually it's the opposite, almost every time.
Well, Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, come on, Donald O'Connor.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I am excited about seeing this for is that I know I'm assuming if they're true somewhat even to the original, to the foundational content of this is this requires some real skill from the leads. You know, not just voices and acting, but dancing. Like intense dancing. Yeah. No offense to West Side Story fans, but that's that pales in comparison to what Gene Kelly did with this.
Well, yeah.
And
think about that scene where they sing "Good Morning."
Oh, yeah.
That scene is shot in the movie in one take.
Yeah.
The camera never blinks.
That's right. Which you assume took hundreds of rehearsals.
Sure.
And so I would assume a similar thing happens with a stage production of this where, the rehearsals are probably pretty numerous.
Well, the only thing I recall, the Lyric did this a few years ago.
Yeah.
The only thing I recall that you don't get in this show on stage that you normally see in the movie is that dream sequence with Sid Charisse.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that in the movie.
In the movie, yeah.
That's an okay cut.
I
like it. I like it.
I'm a
movie.
sucker for Sid Charisse. I'm telling you.
I really like that scene in the movie. But it is part of the story you can lose without losing anything key.
Well, you can't.
But that scene in the movie is very memorable.
Yes, and what you would need is, another 40 or 50 people in the cast.
Yeah.
To do it.
Oh, yeah, you would, huh?
Uh-huh.
And just for that scene, they wouldn't be elsewhere.
No, lots of chorus boys, lots of chorus girls.
That does make planning a little more difficult when we just need you for 4 minutes. You have to be here for every rehearsal, but we only need you for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That makes it a little tough to do. Have you heard any rumors of cast on this one?
Sure.
Any names we'd recognize, or is this
Celeste Bale is playing Lena, the Wicked
cool.
Witch of Hollywood.
Now that's gonna be an interesting role for her.
Can you just imagine, her doing a Bronx accent?
That's gonna be funny.
Yeah, I want this. I want her to sing for me.
I can picture that. That's a good role for her.
Oh, it's going to be memorable. Very memorable.
Celeste I don't know if she's interested in it, but one thing I would like to see Celeste do one time is a one-person show. I don't care what show. Just anything in which it's just her on stage.
She's talented enough to do it.
Very, very talented person, but Singing in the Rain runs Friday, September 16th through Saturday, September 24th.
Yep.
So you have 7 shows you can get out to there. It looks like there's a Monday, a Thursday, but everything else Friday and Saturday in that time period. And that's at Ellen Eccles. And again, they have a lot of things that Wendy's been adding to all of this. Something that looks kind of similar to Cirque du Soleil style. Mm-hmm. But it's with an African theme.
Yes.
The Mannheim Steamroller Christmas by Chip Davis has been added. I see here a couple of comedy nights and other things like that. And I like this. Way off in February 2023, there's an event here just titled "Songs We Love." I'm curious about that. Jazz at Lincoln Center presents "Songs We Love." So that's going to be kind of interesting. And then we should mention this too, Thriller, which I don't think this...
The last time forever.
Is this it forever? That's what I was going to ask.
the founder of Odyssey Dance is retiring when that show ends.
Really?
This fall.
What do you think happens to Odyssey Dance? Won't go away, right? They're not going to.
Yeah, they'll go away.
You think they're done with his retirement?
Yes.
Interesting.
He took his football and went home.
That's too bad because they
were magnificent.
Yeah,
they're really talented, and
that's too bad.
I'm assuming that those young people will move into other dance companies.
Yeah,
but boy, they did great stuff. They did a hip hop version of the Nutcracker.
Oh yeah,
the Nutcracker Redux.
Yeah,
they did.
People liked that.
Oh, it was wildly entertaining.
I remember.
And they did Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo and Juliet, and all of these dance operations with modern dance applications, and
that was very
boy,
cool.
They were good.
That's too bad. I had fingers crossed that someone else would, they take it up and keep that going. And like you said, everyone will probably end up somewhere else. But
yeah, they're way too talented to just. I think I'll go home. But it's a shame.
It is. That's
my daughter, my granddaughter, the other night was sitting at home watching Stranger Things, of all things, and we happened to mention that we had tickets, and she said, "I'm not terribly interested in that," and I said, "Well, okay, it's the last time that you'll see Thriller," and she said, "What?" I said, "Thriller's over. The last time.
The last one." Yeah.
And we've got tickets on the front row of the balcony.
Wow!
With the little girl leaning over the balcony rail, and
best place to sit for a big dance production.
Best place
to
sit.
You want to see the whole stage from that balcony.
Yeah.
That's and this one for listeners too. This is one you're going to want to be on top of because there's only 2 in Cache Valley. Others in Salt Lake. But Monday, September 26th at the Ellen Eccles Theater and Tuesday, September 27th at Ellen Eccles Theater, and that is it. In the studio with us, Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com, talking arts, entertainment, theater in Cache Valley. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with more For the People right after this.
What they're really trying to sing is go see Joseph, and you should. Utah Festival's 30th anniversary production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat follows the Old Testament story of Joseph and his brothers selling him into Egypt. It's big, it's flashy, and it's packed with energy, complete with Elvis, calypso music, cowboy tunes, and a powerful lesson in the end. Too bad Sunday school isn't always this fun. Buy tickets for Joseph, Man of La Mancha, Carmen, and the Magic Flute at utahfestival.org.
You love Bear Lake for sandy beaches, fun on the water, and amazing shakes. Well, the Bear Lake fun hits overdrive this week as Raspberry Days comes to town. August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Go to bearlake.org for a schedule of events from the parade, craft fair, and games to the live music, rodeo, and fireworks. There is something everyone will enjoy this weekend in Bear Lake. Go to bearlake.org for all you need to know about Raspberry Days this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That's it for hour 1 of today's show. Thanks again to Charlie Schill for taking the time to stop by, keep us up on the latest when it comes to theater, arts, entertainment, and more here in Cache Valley. Plenty to talk about next week, of course, as the touring season continues to fill out there at Ellen Eccles Theater and the holiday show announcements start to come. So tune in next Thursday at 4 for more of Charlie Schill. Coming up in hour 2 of today's show, we're going to spend nearly the entire hour with our friend and your Congressman, Blake Moore. Congressman Blake Moore joining us in the studio to talk about the reauthorization of the NDAA, the Saline Lakes bills that he and Senator Mitt Romney are pushing through their respective chambers as we speak. Moore's actually did pass the House, but now a reconciliation process may take place. This is money intended to help Utah deal with our drought concerns and the shrinking Great Salt Lake and study potential options to address this issue with some federal funding to help out the state, whereas the state couldn't afford to do it. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We'll talk about it all. Congressman Blake Moore joins us in the studio for Hour 2 of today's show right after this here on KVNU Logan.